Hello and welcome to UAT Time within the United Countries Special by First Ukraine. You can find us on the frequencies available on our website firstuat.com. I'm Sergey Velichanskiy.
And I am Olivier Vedrine. UAT Time is dedicated to bring Ukraine and Europe closer to each other by introducing the real Ukraine to the rest of the world.
National justice reform is long overdue, or it seems like. Perhaps there are things and actions that we don't see.
Our guest today is Stanislav Kutsenko, Head of Department of Justice of Kyiv.
Welcome.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you very much for finding time, because as far as I can see, watching reports, and especially one of our first guests from the Ministry of Justice, Gia Gitsadze's Facebook page, there are a lot of things happening. It seems like people don't know much. So that's why...
Where is the communication, please?
No, well, there is some communication.
Yes. So it's true, a lot is done, and that's why we are here to explain people some more about our reforms and our initiatives. Let's say that for last 2 years, Ministry of Justice and all departments in regions in Ukraine, they are always being reformed. And frankly speaking, our staff is get used that we are always reforming. And main position of Minister of Justice, Pavlo Petrenko, now is that Ministry of Justice can become much more smaller, because now we try to give all our functions to different bodies. Okay. So it's not a problem for Ministry of Justice to get in smaller and to decentralize. It's normal for Ministry of Justice. And
as far as I understand, in the previous years, some of those responsibilities or rights and powers and authorities that now you're giving away were some of the corruption venues that really brought some black cash into the corrupted officials. And now, by giving away some of those responsibilities, to me, that's one of the best signs of, you know, that there is at least one of the department or one of the branches of power in Ukraine is being reformed.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. So before this, ministries and heads of state departments, they tried to concentrate power in their hands to have all possibilities to use this for bribes or other black schemes, let's say. And only in this year, we give away several functions to local administrations. It's a function of state registration. Now, the good of people and real estate of people and business entities are being registered by local administrations. In Kyiv, we delivered this function to 10 administrations, and people can get these services now through centers of administrative services. Also, 1,500 notaries serve people now also for register their real estate and rights for real estate, and also to register legal entities and physical entrepreneurs. And also, third subject is accredited companies. They were so-called bureaus of technical inventarization, and people also can register their rights in such will have possibility to register in the future. So, and this reform led Ministry of Justice to give to local authorities 4,500 workplaces, and also 1 billion hryvnia incomes each year to all local districts in Ukraine. So actually we gave authorities and we gave money, I mean Ministry of Justice.
But the Ministry of Justice, how many people left the Ministry of Justice? How many economy of workers you did?
Before 2014, 20,000 and more people worked in system of Ministry of Justice. Now we have only nearly 13,000 of people, so let's say twice less. And also in the end of this year, departments of registration of civil acts planned to be also given away to local administrations. So they are so-called in Ukraine ZAGs, where people can register birth of child, marriage, divorce, death and change of name, and also have other possibilities to fulfill their rights on registration of civil acts. So we give all buildings and all authorities again to local administrations.
And to fight against corruption, did you increase the salaries of the workers of the Ministry of Justice?
Yes, the shrunk of amount of state servants gives the possibility to raise salaries. And for sure, now we try to invite young and not only young but motivated people who wants to make reforms, and also except of every month's raise in salary, we propose some additional skills. For example, I launched this series of trainings in the department that are connected with fighting with stress, time management, and communicating with people, communicating with end clients. And also we launched a program that is called Lingua Skills.
Yes,
for
I've
our
heard that, yeah.
yes, for our co-workers, employees to study English, for them to use documents of European Union and other bodies, other countries in the regional, to implement best world practices in their everyday work.
But the English language is a target of the government of Poroshenko to the administration. You work on that with the
Yeah, with the Kyiv administration,
yeah.
yes, with their program Capital English that they do as far as, but they target the Kyivites pretty much. And you're talking about the people, the staff workers of the ministry, right?
Yes, you know, we try to be always one step forward, our ministry and our department, let's say, because this year is year of English language in Ukraine.
Sure.
Yeah,
And sooner or later, according to European demands, all state servants will need to have a level B2 of English to serve people, let's say. And we now try to study our employees to know English. So let's say up to 1,000 of employees in Kyiv, they will be involved in this program through online learning of English, and then we will propose for them to have some offline exercises, and for sure they will have high chances to get certificate on knowing English, let's say, and then they will be more competitive in comparison with other state servants and people when they will be trying to get new job and at least even to stay in the system of state service, because as you know, now the policy of government is always to make less the army of state servants.
Sure, sure.
And now, personally, you are working on a program. You said that to me by Facebook. You are working in a program of online.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask, because online House of Justice, to me, again, that's one of those things that could have or should have been implemented a long time ago, because looking at the Western countries. But tell us about this.
So, Online House of Justice was my initiative when I came to department. Actually, I was appointed according to open competition as well. And I had a lot of ideas how to reform system of justice. And Online House of Justice is like also view in the future, because we launched now 3 services through Online House of Justice, but we plan to give all services for people through computer, smartphone or other possibilities. Now, there are 3 main services. First of all, it's receiving duplicates of documents in sphere of registration of civil acts. So, for example, person lose or is stolen of certificate on birth, certificate on marriage, divorce, and all this stuff. The person make online application, fills in several fields like last name, first name, email, password, and choose a convenient day and time to receive ready documents. In practice now, Online House of Justice works already for 2 months. We see that people receive documents in 1 or 2 days, and they come to our bodies only 1 time. Before this, they need to stand in lines for 2 or 3 times. Yes.
I live here, I know.
Yes. and second very important service that we provide online registration of NGOs.
Yeah.
So it's a big step towards civil activists. And next step will be online registration of mass media. So internet, mass media, local newspaper, and all this stuff, you know. It's my next step.
That is, I like the direction, honestly, because yes, especially the NGO, it was quite a hassle to really get it going, because most of the NGO ideas, they're not started with big budgets. They're starting with just people that really want to do something good. So they just need to mere registration. That's it, you know. And it was quite a challenge.
That's very good for the civil society, because in Ukraine, the civil society is the guarantee of the democracy. And like in France, and
like in every country.
Yeah. This is not only for Ukraine, and the civil society now is pushing the reforms, is pushing Ukraine to EU and like that. And I think this online registration is very good. And but as I said, and as Sergey said, why you do not communicate with such good news?
So we communicate, but for sure, you know, we are always lacking of sources to promote our ideas. That's why I use any means. First of all, it's social media. Facebook, we have our YouTube channel, we have accounts in Twitter, Facebook, and other possible ways. And for sure, we plan now to distribute the printed materials in Center of Administrative Services. Also, we now posted in all executive departments of our services the materials on Online House of Justice. And for sure, sooner or later, we will start huge internet campaign on this. Because, you know, Online House of Justice is very young project, but through 2016, Minister of Justice plans that all electronic services that are provided by Minister of Justice, they will be transferred to Online House of Justice. And for example, a business and private entrepreneurs would be able also to be registered through Online House of Justice. And I think that within 2016 we will start huge information campaign.
Now, I want to touch a little the difficult issue, because I'm talking about state executive services, because the court's rule decision, and it used to be that the state executive services execute the decision, court decision, and it, as with many other things, it has not been that satisfactory. Now, more and more, I think it's already done, or it's in the process of transferring this responsibility not to the state executive service, or make it give it into the hands of the private companies. As soon as I heard that, that made me feel a bit concerned, because we know you know, a lot of Ukrainians know a lot of stories about how the collectors companies, private, that were hired by banks, work with people, and most of the times it's very poorly done and on the edge of fault. What tell us about this initiative and where are you going, so we can be with you and understand.
Because we talked about that with Sergey before, and for me that's like some stories like Titushki, you know, come from to take money, or yes, that's very important, because how you will deal with that.
So I have a rhetorical question. Are activities of collectors provided by laws of Ukraine? No, they are not.
Okay.
So, for sure, activities and actions of private executive servants will be provided strictly in frames of law. Now all the amendments to appropriate laws were approved last week.
Okay.
And for sure, private entrepreneurs, private executors, they will work in this frame. So they will be controlled by Council of private private executors.
Okay.
They will be controlled by Department of State Executive Service and by Ministry of Justice.
Okay.
They will get accreditation from these bodies, and they would will need to have appropriate qualification. For example, not less than 25 years old, 3 years experience in law area, and all that stuff. And they will always, on every step, arrange their activities with state, let's say.
Okay.
We cannot say this about collectors, because private executors, they will be like on the list. Everyone can check this executor,
right. Okay.
and also make complaints on his activities to Ministry of Justice. So we not only provided this reform, but we also thought about mechanism on control of such.
Yeah, check and balance, pretty
Check and
much.
balance,
So
yes.
there's that's what I wanted to hear. So we're talking about probably how will an individual or a company apply and become the private executor with the license from the government. What would be the procedure? That's what I'm interested.
The procedure is following: initiative of such person.
Okay.
Then
We're talking about an individual or a company?
it can be done in both ways.
Okay.
And for sure, after this, they need to get approval from Council of Private Executive Servants. And then they need to be approved by Department of State Executive Service.
Okay, okay.
And yes.
And that's the same way then. It is very similar from what we have in France. Very similar, very similar.
Well,
it means that
yes.
we provide European values here.
Sure.
That's very important to underline.
My question is this. So an individual, he needs to have a certain degree, right? Certain level of education, right?
Yes.
Should it be in legal law?
Legal.
Okay.
Yeah, like in France.
Okay, so, right. Will he be, what rights, my concern about the abuse, I'm sure with the transition, there will be some adjustments made as we go, because it's difficult to foresee a lot of things. But but just like with the police reform, just the other day I talked with the police on the streets, and they said that they're not protected by a lot of laws on their. So if we take their side and see how difficult for them to fulfill their responsibilities. So, but in this case, I'm more probably concerned from the people, just as citizens' side, because I know how this probably understanding or this image of collectors will stay there for a while. So so you said yes, there will be a way to complain, there will be a way to report and check who those people are, and they will definitely carry documents, right?
For sure.
And they will be forced to show the documents, right? To introduce themselves appropriately. So somehow, yeah.
But I think the question is how you will communicate to show that those new collectors are not like the former one.
Let's not use this word collector.
But
sure, because it carries a bad image. So
they were violent.
So you know, this question is quite similar to the reform connected with our given away function of state registration, because we are always being asked how are we going to control that notaries and employees of local administrations, how we control that they make right amendments to state registry. The answer is following: that every person who uses register, they have login and password, and we we know for sure who and where at what time made amendment to state registry. In case of private executive servants, they will also be on the list, and we will know what person do at the exact moment, because they will have the same, almost the same rights as state executors, and they will have all the obligations also. So, and the person can comply in 3 ways. First, as I told, to Council of Executors, to Ministry of Justice, and to court. So, and it means that the person will have at least three possibilities to protect themselves. 3 ways, 3 levels.
Because back in the previous way of execution of court rulings was that there were secret deals between the collectors and the state executors and the banks. Because I know an example, somebody owed a car to the bank, and the collectors couldn't get it, so the state executors came, took the car, and because the car was registered on a wife, but the husband was there, so the husband put his signature on releasing the car to the state executors, and 2 weeks later the car is sold. And they used the signature of the husband, but according to the rights, only the wife had the right to sell. So things like this, there was a lot of issues, and that's where people have very little trust in this thing.
So, now with this reform, we bring competitiveness and market, let's say, in sphere of state executive service. So, person can choose a state or private executor, and the competition will make service better, and it will always works in market. And for sure, the amount of state executives will get less, so we'll need to pay such a lot of taxes for providing the service of executive servants, and we plan that it will bring more income also to state budget if private executors start to work. It's our position.
Also,
before you ask the question, let me invite people to visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/FirstUA channel and facebook.com/UAT time. Find us and let us know what you think, and stay in touch with us.
We talked also about e-government and all the system you want to promote for e-government services and e-government newstape. Can you talk a little about that?
We have our own input to e-governance. As I told about online House of Justice, it's when a person don't need to have a personal contact with a state servant. Because when you come to state servant to talk about something or receive service, it always contact, and it's a possibility to have some breaking of rules or some possibilities to give bribe or demand a bribe, And if we provide these ideas, then no way for contact with state servant. And in my concern, e-governance for sure is a step to European values in this sphere. And Ministry of Justice now launched the program on e-documentation inside of ministry and also on local level as well. So we are coming now to these reforms as well.
And for the for the e-government and e-registration, in France, if I need some e-registration and some document, I go to internet and I have this document 2 days after registration. I receive the document. And in Ukraine, with this new, I can say, reform, in how many days to have a document by internet?
So I will take also example of our department, Department of Justice of Kyiv. As I told, through online House of Justice, when a person make application for receiving duplicates of documents, yes, a person receives it in 2 days.
2 days, like in France.
Yes, like in France. Let's say like in France. But now we have also initiative with using electronic signature. A person would need not to come even to our place. People in the future would have possibility to receive them through post or let's say any services of receiving post or of delivering post. And electronic signature now is provided in legislation, but we need to also, all countries need to provide information campaign on this because people don't use it widely, electronic signature. But next steps are bank ID and mobile ID. And legislation should be adopted for this.
So this would be probably the only way to verify if the person is the right person that is applying, because like again, how can I be sure that nobody is applying on my behalf?
Electronic signature is protected with cryptographic protection.
Yeah, is that the one they use in the banks? Like you carry it on a flash. Yeah. What if I lose the flash card?
There are several levels of protection, and without password and all stuff, nobody can use it.
We need to try it.
But if you use mobile ID, for example, you have fingerprint on your smartphone, it can be only your fingerprint. So then nobody can break at all. But we need to work on legislation a bit on this.
Sure, sure.
And okay, what will be the next step of your reform? Do you have
just
some new ideas?
Future plans, real quick, and we're.
Future plans are open competition on all positions in our department. As we have conducted them, we will continue this to bring people just from street, not because of bribe of relations and all this stuff. You know, like
professionals.
Yes, professionals. Next, it's developing of online House of Justice because we plan to launch 20 more bunches of services that will help people to get more than 150 documents online and in the future by post as well after using electronic signature. And for sure we will try to train our state servants for them to be professionals, always with smile to people, to end users, and
client-oriented, service-oriented.
Client-oriented, yes. And for giving our service on the highest level.
Nice. Actually, this ministry is probably the only one that I was happy that the minister and the team remained in their position after the change of the prime minister. So, because after Gitsadze's been here, I've been following a lot of things, and things are happening. I'm happy.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Great. Thank you too.
Thank you for finding time to come, and we will be more than happy to have you back.
We will follow you
in a few months and let us know what's to expect. It was United Country UAT time by First Ukraine. Our guest was Stanislav Kutsenko, head of Department of Justice of Kyiv.
Olivier Vedrine and Sergey Velichanskiy were working for you in the studio. Stay with us and we will show to you the real Ukraine.
Thank you for being with us. Have a good day and see you soon.